Hello and welcome to another episode of Stand and Watch, the best and only dad movie podcast you're ever going to listen to, because
Houston, we have a problem.
Give me all you got!
But what I do have are a very particular set of skills.
Give me back my son! I didn't kill my wife! I don't care!
we got in a white van, pulled up to all the other ones, and they've never been seen again.
Yeah, I can neither confirm nor deny it. By the way, I'm Nick. I'm the other host. Little out of practice because I was gone 2 weeks ago because of tariffs, not because I was in a white van being disappeared.
You said that you're Nick, the other host. I haven't even introduced myself yet. I'm Matt, the first host.
That's how out of practice I am.
Yeah, I haven't
tariffs,
even
man.
I haven't even said hello to Steve Buscemi yet.
Steve Standys, hello, welcome
Hello,
to the
Steve.
show.
Hello, Steve. One day we're gonna get you on, Steve. We're gonna get you on this show.
We keep asking, like you said yes to Seth Rogen and the studio. We saw you on there, but you not returning our emails. That's kind of messed up, man.
Nick is just as good as Seth Rogen.
Is this what you want, Steve?
He's not as good as Evan Goldberg, but he's just as good as Seth Rogen.
That's one of the most backhanded compliments I've ever gotten. But thank you.
You're in between Rogen and Goldberg. I think that's a pretty good spot to be.
I like Seth. I think Seth Rogen gets too much shit. I think he gets too much shit from people on the internet.
Nobody on the internet matters, so
He right now. So one of my favorite roles of Seth right now is he's on Invincible. He plays Alan the Alien on Invincible, and he plays the shit out of Alan the Alien. Alan the Alien is a very complicated character. If you haven't seen Invincible, Alan the Alien is basically Piccolo from Dragon Ball Z. If you haven't seen Dragon Ball Z, Piccolo is basically, I don't know who to compare Piccolo to. Have you seen Dragon Ball Z, Matt?
when I was a child, I don't remember.
You know who Piccolo is?
The green guy, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Piccolo is just basically a surrogate father for Gohan and Goten when Goku is gone, and that's the thing about Goku. Goku is always gone. Alan is just a really good support for Mark and Alan. They're just good characters. Go watch Invincible. Season 3 just ended a little bit ago, and it's really good.
Did Aaron Paul survive?
He did.
Good for him.
He basically played Jesse in that role because he's yelling about how Invincible can't keep getting away with this. You think I'm kidding? It's essentially the same line.
Oh, yo, bitch! I do like Aaron Paul. I wish he was in more things.
You did you ever watch The Path? The Path was the Hulu show that he did right after Breaking Bad.
I did not. I didn't know he was in a show
It's
right
the
after
one-
Breaking Bad.
It was the one about him being part of a cult. So his wife was like the leader of a cult, and he like wanted out. And so it's about him like being in and out of a cult, trying to raise a family while being part of a cult.
I don't know. I feel like his career should have been bigger after Breaking Bad. The only thing I've seen him in post Breaking Bad is, not including Better Call Saul, is his voice work in BoJack Horseman.
Forget he was in that.
And he has like a small supporting role in the Kevin Hart, Dwayne Johnson movie Central Intelligence.
Of course he does. He was in the last season of Westworld, and he's really hopeful they get that last season. I can't speak to him being good or not in that, but I tend to like him and stuff that he's in.
I like him. He's a good guy. He's a good actor. Yeah. I don't know. I feel like he should have gotten bigger roles after Breaking Bad.
You would think he was in Better Call Saul for a little bit.
That's not. I did see Need for Speed, so maybe that's why he didn't become a bigger movie guy.
But Need for Speed wasn't this big letdown. It was just kind of in the middle, right?
No, it's pretty shit.
Wait, I'm thinking of Gran Turismo. The Gran Turismo movie was okay.
Yeah, Gran Turismo was it's fine in the middle. Need for Speed it's so boring. They made street racing boring.
You know what he would be? Have you Put him in the future season of True Detective.
Ooh.
Put him in. Has he done a Black Mirror episode? I bet he would
I
kill
think-
it in a Black Mirror episode.
I think he has, or maybe he's gonna be. Oh no! You know what? Put him in the next Ryan Johnson murder mystery.
Yeah. Okay. All
What-
right.
Whatever's the third one, I think they're filming now. Whatever the fourth one is, put him in.
What is this new one called? I don't even know what this new one is called.
Does it have a title yet? I think it does. Just gonna type in Knives Out 3, and then we'll start talking about the movie.
Knives Out. I love that. I love it when movies have to do that, just so because people are so fucking stupid. They're like, "Hey, this is a Knives Out movie, you idiot." Hey,
It's called
listen.
Wake Up Dead Man, a Knives Out mystery.
I love that. Just like when the Hunger Games, like the Hunger Games, catching fire because you're a fucking idiot and can't read context clues and see the faces of the people in the movie.
There's a show,
that's cool.
there was a show about Batman's butler Alfred. I don't know if you know this.
Yep. I know exactly where this is going. Go ahead.
And at one point they changed the title. At first it was just called Pennyworth, and then at some
Great
point,
name. It
yeah.
works. It works.
at some point, I don't know if it was second season or third season or whatever, they changed the name to Pennyworth: The Origin of Batman's Butler.
That's a 30 Rock joke. That's a fucking 30 Rock joke.
They're like, okay, listen, if they don't know Pennyworth, nice clean title, but listen, people might not know what the show is about. So we're going to put the log line in the title.
Well, you know what? Amazon's gonna do the same bullshit with all these James Bond shows. They're gonna Moneypenny, the lady who works the front desk at MI6.
Felix Leiter, James Bond's sometimes friend in the CIA.
Gonna happen. It's gonna happen. They're gonna do that, and then they're gonna wonder why nobody wants to watch any more James Bond stuff. You guys love James Bond. What happened? How have we not landed on GoldenEye yet? By the way,
I know it's been. You know what? Maybe
been on this wheel for weeks.
Maybe this
Weeks, I
time. Maybe this time. You just watch. It was gonna land on GoldenEye, and now you've jinxed it.
We're gonna get the double feature this week. I just know it. I just know we're gonna get the double feature.
I don't know. I just have a strong feeling that that's gonna get pulled for our guest, our next guest.
That poor guest. we're 2 weeks out from him being here, and he doesn't know what he's in for. He has no idea.
I mean, it's two good movies at least.
Yeah, they're two good movies. Yeah, they're shorter too. Those are considered horror movies, right? That's Terminator, Predator, and Prey. They're horror adjacent.
Yeah, they're horror adjacent. There's still more action thrillers, I guess.
They're not even the best Predator movie in that series. Predator 2 is the best. No, I'm kidding. I can't commit to that.
Some people think so.
Though I do like Predator 2.
Some people swear by Predator 2, but enough about Predators. Are there any Predators in this movie?
We weren't talking.
No, there isn't. There isn't. Unless somebody.
We weren't talking about Drake.
Unless some allegations come out against Gary Sinise.
No, we're talking Snake Eyes today. Snake Eyes.
Snake Eyes.
1998 Nick Cage.
Not to tie this all together. Not Snake Eyes, the G.I. Joe movie, a G.I. Joe spinoff.
It is funny because when you Google this movie, that is the first thing that pops up. At least here in the States.
Snake Eye. Well, I think Snake Eyes Nick Cage pops up for me because I've been Googling it so much. Is it just called Snake Eyes, or does it have a stupid... Oh, nope. Snake Eyes, G.I. Joe Origins.
They added that after. They're like, people know it's G.I. Joe.
Oh my god.
Fuck. People are fucking stupid.
Snake Eyes, G.I. Joe Origins. People are stupid. I think that's... If there's one thing we've learned in the past 3 months of 2025 is people are stupid.
I think Twilight was the first one to do it. Twilight was like, hey, yeah. I know I just said, like, I'm sorry, Matt's dead. But that was a good like. Twilight did it because there was Twilight, and then after that was Twilight New Moon because people were so fucking stupid. I fucking hate all of you. Stop, get the fuck out of here, all of you. I'm done with all you. Get out of here.
Do you wanna introduce the movie, and I will pull up my Letterboxd review.
Yeah, let's introduce the movies. So Snake Eyes is a 1998 American mystery thriller film directed and produced by Brian De Palma. The film stars Nicolas Cage as a detective investigating a political assassination at a boxing match in Atlantic City, with supporting roles played by Gary Sinise, Carla Gugino, Carla Gugino, John Hurd, Dan Shaw,
I've heard it both ways.
Kevin Dunn, Joel Fabiani. What? You've heard it both ways.
I've
I
heard it
love
both ways. John
Luis-
heard it both
Guzman.
ways. Luis Guzman.
Dave Palma also devised the story with David Gope, who was the sole writer of the screenplay. The musical score was composed by Ryuichi Sakamoto. Yeah. Again, back from my tariff break, so I'm still a little woozy over here. I'm woozy, man. But you've got your letterbox. You got your dad approved letterbox review. Go ahead and pull that up.
I will. This review comes to us from Sam Dayan. Well, whatever, Sam. Whatever your name is, okay, if that even is your real name. They gave this movie, and they are a pro member. They gave this movie 3 stars and wrote, "If you've never been on cocaine, watching this movie will give you a solid idea of what that's like."
That's fair. I feel that. I feel that after watching this movie.
Mhm.
My review is from Ricky Bobby. No, not that one. 3.5 stars. I also gave it a heart. They're not a patron or anything, so I guess they're broke. And the review is not enough snakes or eyes. 7.5 out of 10. Yeah, no snakes nor eyes. Well, okay, there's
Well,
there's a lot of eyes in this movie.
There's so many eyes in this movie, but no
I don't
snakes.
agree with his take on the eyes, but I agree with his take on the snakes. No
You're
snakes.
wrong, Ricky Bobby. There are plenty of eyes in this film.
Not enough snakes.
Letterbox
Yeah, this movie's
goof.
fine.
Letterbox
Letterbox
goof.
Hold
Ricky
on, let me
Bobby.
comment.
Ricky Bobby claims that there's no eyes in the movie Snake Eyes, but there are actually quite a few pairs of eyes.
I was pleasantly surprised that Nick Cage kept it together in this movie.
I love Nick Cage. I listen. He is, I think, misunderstood. I think a lot of people see him as this meme actor who always goes overboard. But if you really study his work, there's a purpose behind all of his decisions.
I think he gets a little too goofy for my taste.
When he goes, I don't know. He's like a silent film actor in the wrong era. Because you can mute a Nicolas Cage performance and you always know what he's doing.
Yeah, even in one in like Con Air that is just like off the rails. Yep,
he's acting.
He just said respect women. He said respect women. He's very serious right now.
He's acting for the camera, not for the boom mic. There's a movie, there's a little thriller with Timothy Olyphant called The Perfect Getaway. And in that movie, they're talking about actors, and they bring up Nicolas Cage, and Timothy Olyphant has a great Nick Cage impression where he goes, "I love Nick Cage. I love how he gets all intense right at the end of a sentence."
I remember this scene. I don't remember this movie, but I remember this scene.
Yeah. It's always in my head whenever Nick. I watched it recently. Like, I was a fan of Nick Cage, but now that's all I think about. This movie.
Yep.
This movie, he's got some great end of sentence intensity.
He wraps it up.
Yeah.
Recording at midnight. I'm sorry. It's 1. Holy shit! It's 1 o'clock.
It's 1:45 for me. So.
Ooh, I can play Wordle right now. Podcast. We can't Wordle during podcasts. That's the rule.
It's very late. I feel like this episode is going to be similar to our Aliens episode. We're going to have no recollection of this in the morning.
To be fair, Nick Cage probably has no recollection of this movie.
I like Nick Cage, and he's one of my. I didn't write a lot of notes for this movie just because I was watching it and paying attention. But I did write down some Nick Cage notes because I like him in this movie. He's very good. He's just the right amount of over the top. I like.
This is one of those movies going in, like, it's very glitzy, it's very colorful. So you're like, I was on the edge of my seat, like, what are we about to get from that? What is going to come out of this man's mouth? And his character is very eccentric, very energetic, but it's not overly done.
Yeah, like they're at this big boxing match. He's clearly a big gambler, and he's like all in. He's like, yeah, this is the life, baby.
Yeah, we're gonna win some money. And the like 20-minute long cut this film opens with,
incredible,
fucking amazing. Like, part of me was, I didn't realize this had that long of a one cut, and I was like, is this gonna be the whole movie? Are they about to pull this off? Are they doing a 1917 right now?
Yeah, an incredible one to start things.
They don't do they don't do any of the usual tricks of like the dark hall. At least not that I saw in my watch. No dark hallways to like stitch in. Like if this, it feels like one fucking cut. Did
It's
you see
incredible.
anywhere in there? Did you
I
see
didn't.
anywhere in there where they're like, we made a cut here? Maybe
I
like when they're like shifting the camera really fast.
I didn't. There's a couple of oneers in this too, because there's a couple of like POV shots that are oneers, which I like those too. There's one scene. Gary Sinise is like stalking like the hotel hallway, like looking for the girl he's got to kill, and like he's stalking the hallway and he's like listening into the door, and the camera like goes up. And it goes over the wall. It doesn't go over one wall into the hotel room. It goes over 4 walls to 4 hotel rooms. Bird's eye view. That's the good stuff, baby. That's what movies used to be.
The crane shot oneer is really good.
Yeah.
It's because you think you're just gonna get the one room and it just keeps going.
Yeah, it keeps going. You
and
see
going.
all the rooms. And you're like, and you don't have to see all the rooms because some of them is like, who cares what's going on in this room? Like, there's one room, like these 2 are just about to have sex or whatever. Just 2 like non-characters. They're just in the room. What do we care what's in this room? Because you can. That's the movies.
This is also one of those movies where I usually don't read like background info, but I read background info on this one for some reason as I was sitting there watching it. And there's like major plot points cut from this movie
Yes.
that like if I had not known, I would have been like, oh yeah, whatever. But and having known, you see the pieces and you're like, oh shit, there was supposed to be like a big flood.
Yeah. I also read that before I watched this, so I picked up on all of those. And yeah, because there was like an alternate ending that they cut, and they reference it in the normal ending, and you're like, well, hang on, what is he talking about?
Wait a minute, what the hell?
Yeah.
What? But this does a really good job of just capturing the feeling of being at a live sporting event.
Yeah.
This is probably one of the better ones I've seen. I'd put it up there with.
Yeah.
You know what? I know there's some recency bias here, but Hunt with Josh Hunted. Is it Hunted or Hunted? Trapped. I'm sorry, Trapped.
Yeah.
Again,
Trap.
Trapped with the like. It just captures the experience.
Yeah, and yeah, Nick Cage. Nick Cage is like locked in for that too. Like his whole like, he's betting on this match. I think I don't know how much he put. I don't remember, like 10 grand or something.
10 grand. Yep, 10 grand because he then tries to extort it out of the box.
He puts 10 grand on it, and like he's locked in, and like, yeah, this is what people are like at these events. Like you're like, oh, he's going full Nick Cage. Like that's what people are like. Like there's one part like he stands up in his seat, and like I don't know the exact quote. He says something about how like this is like garbage city and he is the king or something, and he's just shouting.
Yeah, that sounds. Yeah.
Yeah, he's like, yeah, this is like the town of garbage, and I am the king. Like he's like, yeah, like he's like all for this. Like this is it's you go to Atlantic City for a boxing match, and this is probably what you're getting. Like these types of people in the front row.
Well, it's chaos. The movement just feels so natural. Again, this is another event with like thousands of people packed in, and it just feels chaotic. Like someone could and a terrible place to be protecting somebody, by the way.
Yeah.
A terrible place to put a man whose life is like this man's life is in danger, but you're like, let's go and let's go to a boxing match. It'll be fun.
Yeah,
we got a big contract that we just signed, a weapons deal, but he'll be safe, right?
Yeah, nothing's gonna happen. We checked it out. We checked out the building.
Fine. I also really like, and I'm realizing your dad said we say like too much. We're talking about what we like, Dad. We're talking about what we like. What are you doing?
Yeah.
Get out of my head. Get out of my head, Matt's dad. The picture I'm picturing of you. No, the thing they do that I really like is the. I'm sorry.
Just over enunciate the word like.
Like. No, that one echoed in my ear. I'm sorry. So you see who's done it to a certain extent, but they keep building out the mystery. It's like, oh, but there's one more. Oh, but there's one more.
Yeah.
Oh, but there's one more.
I do like how
you're doing it now too. I love it.
How they could have built that up to the end. A lot of movies, you build up who's the final man for the climax, right? Act 3. This movie just goes right. Okay, boom, middle of Act 2. There it is. There's the 5th man.
And you kind of see it coming, but you're not mad at it.
Yeah, I mean, even just based on casting, you kind of see it coming.
Well, I wonder who the bad guy is. It's
You know,
kind of like watching.
a 90s mid-budget thriller with this person in it. I wonder who the bad guy is.
Like watching Law and Order CSI, and there's a special guest appearance. You're like, oh,
Yeah.
nope, that's who fucking did it.
A 90s mystery, a 90s thriller with Gary Sinise? Who could the bad guy be?
I wonder.
Yeah.
But yeah, it turns out Gary Sinise, who is supposed to be protecting this Department of Defense guy, is the one who orchestrated the attack.
Yeah, he's the mastermind.
Yeah, and I love that there's layers to it. So the woman who approaches him, who you think is like in on the attack, is actually a scientist who's trying to get him to acknowledge that like the stuff that you've signed and you are okay with has actually been faked.
Yeah, and
you're being duped.
Yeah, and the woman you think is like the distraction for him is the one who's in on it, the redhead.
Yeah. Oh man, I've got a thing for redheads. I'm married to a redhead, so anytime I see a nice redhead, I'm like, yeah, I would have been distracted too.
I mean, who doesn't like a good redhead? I there's an old expression I've heard. It's like some guys like blondes, some guys like brunettes. Every guy likes redheads.
He was giving me Miss Bellum vibes. You know Miss Bellum? Do you know who Miss Bellum is? If I say Miss Bellum,
I do not.
She was the mayor's assistant in Powerpuff Girls.
Oh,
red hair.
Yes. I don't.
You didn't
I know
even
who
see
you're
her
talking
face
about.
because
Yes.
the red hair was covering her face.
Yeah. Well, but see, the thing is, when I was growing up, I watched Kim Possible was a cartoon. I liked Kim Possible.
Was Kim a redhead? Kim was a redhead, wasn't she?
She was a redhead, and here I am now.
I am. I'm a sucker for redheads.
Yep.
That's automatically going to give you one extra star that you wouldn't have gotten.
Yeah, I do. I like that because there's a couple of POV shots in this where you like see a couple of different things from other, like you see kind of the beginning of the movie from the boxer's perspective, and then later on you kind of see from Gary Sinise's perspective what happened when he was distracted by the redhead, and obviously I'm watching that going, I mean, it's Gary Sinise, right? He's got to be the bad guy. But like the movie also really does it well. Like you're watching it thinking, it's from his perspective. So you think, okay, so this is what happened. But you're also like, this kind of seems suspicious.
Yeah. You just followed her into the back of the stadium.
Yeah,
just
like,
nonchalantly.
You just happen to land right next to the shooter. Like, really?
Very, very convenient, sir.
Yeah, and
very convenient.
And that happens like a few minutes before like it fully reveals he was the bad guy. But that's a nice little, we'll show you from his perspective, and you're like, okay, so this is what happened to him, and you're like, well, hang on, this seems a little too convenient.
He's also hamming up, like feeling bad when he's talking to Nick Cage. Supposed to protect this man. I'm buried in someone's tits. He feels remorseful.
I like Nick Cage. Oh, so you got a boner. Congratulations, you're a human.
Nick Cage is telling it like it is.
I love Nick Cage.
Good man.
I love, I wrote down here my two favorite things Nick Cage does in this movie. I love that after like the guy gets shot and there's all the commotion, Nick Cage just punches a photographer.
Yeah.
Like,
when they're on the floor.
Like the press is all coming in and they're ready to like take pictures, and he's like, okay, it's my investigation now. He's like, get out of here. And then one photographer leaves, another photographer comes, he just punches him square in the face. I love that. There's another moment where he's like walking, he's going to question the boxer. I think his name is Tyler. And his
yes, Tyler. Yeah. Tyler's in their bed. Tyler.
His guards, Tyler's guards are like, no, he's not seeing anybody right now. He's like, well, I'm going in. It's like, no. And like he grabs Nick Cage's sleeve, and Nick Cage goes, see where your hand's at? That's a felony.
There's another Nick Cage line that I really liked here, where he's talking to Sinise, where Sinise is like, oh, I fucked up. Like they're going to be really mad at me. I'm going to get in trouble. They're going to fire me. And Nick Cage says, go to confession later, but don't bury yourself now. And that stuck out to me. It's a good line. It's a really good line. Oh, something I wrote you in the middle of the movie. So there are doors shutting throughout the movie.
Oh,
and it's the GoldenEye door shutting sound bite.
That's great.
It's literally, I don't know if they pulled that from Snake Eyes.
It's probably, I think this probably came out after GoldenEye, right? GoldenEye was 97.
When was this? 98? Yeah.
This was 98. I mean, that's probably a stock sound, right? It's got to be.
Yeah, it's got to be a stock. It's that metal clink. Or it's it's a little heavy. Blink, like you go if you're playing Facility and you close a metal door in map.
One more thing I'll say that I like before we get into our dislikes. That scene, I think the strongest. I don't know if it's the strongest scene. It might be, but to me, like the scene where Cage and Sinise are racing to get to Carla in the hotel. That's a good scene. That's a really tense scene. Like, because she pretended she was attracted to this big fat loser to hide in his room.
By the way, played by, I don't know his name, the guy from Malcolm in the Middle. He plays Craig in Malcolm in the Middle, and he's a big piece of shit.
Yeah, so she's like taking like shelter in his room by pretending to be attracted to him. And Cage sees her on the security tapes, and he's going to find the room. And Sinise doesn't know what room she's in, but like he's looking. He knows what floor. He's looking for the rooms. And that's also when that top-down oneer happens. And it's just cut in between like both of them like racing like to get to her. And it's not even that like they're not running. It's not like filmed like an action thing like or a race like who's gonna get the. It's just Nick Cage rushing there and Sinise like stalking the hallways, and it just flips between like close-ups of their faces, and it's so tense. Like
you're wondering like, are they both about to be shot? What's gonna.
Yeah, like
they do a really good job of building that up. Like, they use that elevator very effectively because they've got the two elevators. What's her name? Julia is on the one with the fat loser. I can say that as a fat loser myself. And so Cage is talking to one of the security guys. They don't have a way to see. This is a really smart scene that I really like. They don't have a way to see what floor they're going to because they don't have cameras on the elevators pointing at like the floor numbers.
Yeah. So they have to guess.
But he does have a picture of the guy getting on the elevator. So he takes the picture, cross-references it, finds his ID on record with the hotel because you need an ID to put a credit card down. And that's how they find his room. I was like, that's crazy, man.
Yeah, and I because at that point in the movie, we know Gary Sinise is the bad guy. Nick Cage does not. We know they're like best friends. And so it's such a great use of dramatic irony because you're like, are they going to bump into each other? Is Nick Cage going to figure it out? Is he going to, who's going to get to her first? Is Sinise going to kill her? Like, what's going to happen? It's to me, like, that's to me that, I mean, other things happen after that. I don't know. I feel like to me, that's like the crescendo of like all of just everything we've learned with everything the characters haven't yet learned. Just pushing together in a beautiful symphony of what's going to happen.
I wanted to ask you, what do you think this movie's about? Like the thematics wise, because it feels like it wants to do some thematic stuff, but them dumping off the blood stuff feels kind of in a way that they're like, no, this, you know what, let's just make this a fun little action movie with some cool camera stuff.
I feel like they were trying something with, because the reason Sinise is evil is because he's like, he's a Navy guy and he's like sick of seeing like his like fellow Navy men like blown up by like enemy missiles.
This very Metal Gear coded. I was watching this.
And yeah,
might as well have been Revolver Ocelot.
And yeah, like the terrorist Patsy, who they get to like shoot the guy and like pin it on as part of their conspiracy. He's like a Palestinian terrorist.
Oh man, that happened. And I was like, oh no, what the hell? This is pre 9/11 also.
Yeah, and it's just like, so like there's some undercurrent of like politics in there, like what the like global climate is of like the American war machine, but it's also kind of like, I mean, it's also kind of like they were like I feel like they struggled. They were like, do we want to make this about that, or do we want to make this about Cage and Sinise? Because there's that undercurrent of like Cage and Sinise are childhood best friends, and this is one of my major downs, is that like they say that at the beginning, oh hey, you're my best friends and it's crazy or whatever, and I just never got the sense that they were. Like, it just tells us they are, but it never bothers to build that relationship like they are.
They feel strained. They
Yeah.
kind of feel,
They feel like work
I don't know, in a
acquaintances.
weird
They
way.
they feel like people that know each
Yeah.
other. They feel like coworkers that became friends, but they don't feel like best friends since childhood. And a lot of this hinges on them being best friends since childhood and that like betrayal. But it doesn't work because the movie doesn't really build that relationship in any way beyond their like first conversation.
I think the film's, because there are portions of it that kind of got cut and kind of it shifts things. But I do think the film at its core is trying to say the truth will come out no matter what good you do or what side you end up on. Like the truth is going to come out. Yeah, I mean, you see it with Nick Cage at the end, celebrated hero, and then all the shitty stuff he's done as a detective comes back to bite him in the ass.
Yeah, that's another one of my downs. I like that he gets milkshake ducked. I think that's a fun detail. I do think that's a fun detail, but it's so out of pocket. Like it just happens. They just mention it. They just mention that it's happened. Like 2 minutes before the credits roll. Like, oh, and the hero of the city, Rick Santoro, is now under investigation. And the movie like hints that he's like a corrupt cop, but it never tells us like what has he done? Like, is he a corrupt cop or does he just have a gambling problem? Like, it's never like, I don't know. Is he a corrupt cop that just kind of bends the rules? Is he a corrupt cop that like plants evidence? Like, I don't know.
He did try to extort Tyler.
Yeah.
He did. Hey, I'm not going to tell anybody if you give me my 10 G's, man.
Yeah, but again, like I don't know what kind of corrupt, like I don't know what his many crimes are that got outed. So it's just it does kind of feel like a cop out. I like that he got milkshake duck. That's a great detail. A lot of lesser movies would just he's the hero and the movie ends.
He lifts the plaque up and freeze frame
Yeah.
credits.
Although I do love a good freeze frame credits. But yeah, like a lesser movie would just end when he like gets the bad guy. So I like that he gets outed for like being a bad cop and he kind of gets his comeuppance. But it does feel so out of nowhere because the movie just doesn't do a good job of showing, because I guess it can't because it's like a one night, one location thing, but it doesn't really show me like how dirty of a cop this guy is, because all I see him, he's a pretty good detective.
He
right?
basically solves it
Himself.
just by himself off of intuitions. And after interviewing Tyler, he's basically got the whole, besides the fact that his best friend, I'm air quoting for those who can't see me, is the traitor. He's got it down.
And besides extorting Tyler for some gambling money, which, you know, who among us wouldn't do, it doesn't, like, he's just a good cop. Like, he's a good detective, and he does it, and he solves the investigation pretty much hands clean. So we're just left to guess, well, I guess in his normal day-to-day job, he's a dirty cop somehow. And again, it hints at us because, like you said, like, Cage goes, you know, go to confession later, don't bury yourself now. You know, and he kind of guides Sinise into like how to like spin the truth into his favor for breaking protocol. But it's like, so but again, that's even like, is that being a dirty cop or is that helping his friend? Or is like, again, I don't know. Is he a dirty cop like Vic Mackey, or is he a dirty cop like, I don't like one of the fucking Punisher cops in Daredevil? Like I don't know. I don't know the level of dirty cop he is that he would get milkshake ducked. I like that it happens, but I'm just like, it happens 2 minutes before the credits, and I don't know how dirty of like who, right? I don't know. It just it happens in a way where I'm like, oh, that's a fun detail, but do I really care?
I wish they would have milked. Like I think it would have went a little further if they had also done the same to Tyler, because Tyler just kind of disappears. He's in cahoots with
Sinise?
My brain. So he's in cahoots with Sinise, but then after beating the shit out of Nick Cage, he kind of just disappears.
Yeah. Or maybe milkshake duck him earlier? Maybe?
Yeah, where it comes out that he threw the fight.
Yeah.
Like, do something where maybe the guy who has the camera, the video shots, is extorting him or something. Like something.
Yeah.
And where that got I don't know, just milkshake duck everybody at the end. That'd be fun.
Yeah, or again, or milkshake duck them earlier. Like you can milkshake duck Nick Cage maybe early, like because there's those other agents in there working on the case that Nick Cage kind of shoos away. This is my case now, right? Like I'm head investigator. Like you can milkshake duck him earlier. You can like have those people figure out he's dirty and make him a suspect. Now he's got to solve the crime before
There's a line when FBI gets there. There's one of the FBI agents is on the floor and Nick Cage walks up to him and the guy says, "FBI, I'd like you to leave." And then Nick Cage flashes his badge and the other guy, "Oh, okay." He just says, "Oh, okay," and lets him in.
I like the way Nick Cage tells the fat loser to take a walk. He barges into his room, doesn't show his badge to the guy. He's like, "What are you doing? Take a walk." He's like, "Well, hey, take a walk."
This is terrible. And then the fat loser's just walking around. I can't, but this is the worst. This is something that happens at a hotel.
Yeah.
He's going to complain about the hotel, and the hotel has nothing to do with it.
Oh, yeah. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know if this movie would have been stronger if they kept in the original ending or I don't know, Milkshake Duck Merler. Yeah, I mean, it's a good movie. It is a good movie, but you can really feel where it cracks.
Yeah, I've got one that really stands out. Julia Costello is the female lead. She has glasses, but through most of the movie, she's lost her glasses because I think they were shot, if I remember correctly.
Yeah. She lost them. She lost them when she got shot.
So she's basically just wandering about blind, and the film does a really good job of keeping that consistent. Because a lesser movie would have forgotten about it, and then she would be running in a scene. No, this is really good about remembering. Like she's fucking blind.
Yeah, and this is one of those movies. Like when it's good, it's really good. Like it's made well, incredible. It's shot incredibly. It knows all of its details. It sticks to them. Like it's very meticulous. But there's those big cracks in its foundation that you really can't shake.
She just stands around. When Nick Cage is not there to guide her, she's just there.
Yeah. And it's like, those cracks, like, they're big. They're big cracks, and they kind of take the whole thing apart. And I don't know if that's because they changed the ending and had to cut around it, or maybe it's just other script issues. But yeah, like when it's on. But when those cracks start to show, you're like, like it really sinks that foundation.
Like the POV stuff, we get multiple POVs. We get Kevin Dunner, we get Gary's, we get Sinise's twice. What they want us to see, and then what actually happens. Yeah. Or is that played from the redhead's perspective? I don't remember.
I don't think so.
And I think
it's played from Julia's perspective.
Okay, that makes sense. Okay, then all is forgiven. I'm an idiot.
I do like that scene when she tells Nick Cage that, and he's like, he kind of doesn't want to believe her. Like that, he's like, even if it's true, it can't be true. It's not true.
Yeah, he's very hesitant to turn on his friend. He doesn't want to believe that he's capable of that, because there's an earlier scene where he's trying to save Nick Cage. He tells him, "Hey, I could get you out of here. Right? We can get you onto someone's detail, like make some good money, make double what you make here."
And that's a really good scene. Like his reaction to that is really great, and it's a good scene. I'm like, this would have been, what would have made this even stronger if I cared about their friendship.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they meet very late in the one or early. Like hell, I forgot for a while that Luis Guzman was in this movie.
Yeah, because he's in it for a couple scenes and then disappears.
He's completely gone. They knew they had him for an hour one day, and they're all right.
I think he's not the
get in there, Luis.
I don't think he's not the bookie. He works for the bookie, and Nick Cage
he's a degenerate gambler.
Yeah, Nick Cage shakes him down for some money.
He shakes him down. He falls and cuts himself on like a piece of metal, and so there's bloody money. There's blood money. There's literal blood money in this
literal
movie.
Blood money. It's one of those things where like, this is a really great movie. There's probably like a 4-star, 4.5-star movie in here, but those cracks, they sink it. They sink it.
Why were the
Noticeably.
redhead? Why were the redhead and the other guy killed? Were they just loose ends and
I
he
think
didn't
so.
want them?
I think so.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't know. I was kind of annoyed by that. I was like, you're just gonna you're killing your people. You've got the numbers game. You've got
Yeah.
a 4-on-2.
I think
And-
he killed the guy because I think he figured out that Nick Cage could ID him because he saw him in the crowd. I don't know why he
With the
killed.
ear, yeah.
I don't know why he killed the girl either. Like as well.
The wigs are
'Cause-
bad. The wigs are very bad too. Once once the redhead's wig was off and once Julia's wig were off, I was like, what are we? Those wigs are so bad.
I you know what I do really like that Sinise just kills himself like live on the news
Yeah.
because like he like Nick Cage has him cornered and he says they say the name of the movie. You love that. I love when they say the name of the movie.
Hey, they said it twice.
They say it.
twice.
They say it twice because Sinise earlier in the film says, Snake Eyes, the house wins, and Nick Cage says that to him when he's caught because Nick Cage calls in the cavalry. And I love Sinise like being like, "Hey, no, we gotta. What are you pointing your guns at me for? This woman's a suspect." And then he realizes that he's surrounded. And he turns around, tries to like leave, and the door is locked. And they're like, "Don't fucking move!" Right? And he's like,
Right.
"There's no way out of this." He just shoots himself through the heart, like through the chest.
There's another scene where Nick Cage finally realizes Sinise is in on it. I think he watches the footage. He watches the footage in the booth, and there's a set of stairs behind Nick Cage, and you can see Sinise's shadow there before like he's supposed to move. Like the blocking has him already on the stairs, and you can see his shadow right there. And so he's there for like a clean minute while he watches the tape. And I think it's cool, but also it's just goofy the way that they blocked that.
Yeah. Before we wrap this up, I have some quotes up here. Just some great things that Nick Cage says in this movie.
Hit me.
Okay, so Sinise asks Cage how his wife is. He goes, "How's Angela?" He goes, "Fat, fabulous, fantastic, I love her." Sinise goes, "How's the other one? What's her name, Candy?" He goes, "Oh, Monique, skinny, mean, expensive, I love her." He goes, "Oh yeah," he tells Sinise, "It isn't lying, you just tell him what you did right and leave out the rest."
This is a very quotable Cage movie.
Yeah.
The bit I go back to the don't go to confessional later, don't bury yourself now. Good line.
Yeah, Gary Sinise goes, "I was 3 feet away from a known terrorist and I had my eyes buried in some broad's tits." That's a great line on its own. And then Kate,
and the fact that he's lying and hamming it up for his friend's
Yeah.
sake in that moment just makes it that much funnier.
and Nick Cage's follow-up, "Well, Kevin, this may not make you feel better, but don't you see? That's what she was there for. That was the plan, to give you a boner. And you got one. Congratulations, you're human."
It's just see, you complain about the friendship not being well defined. I think these moments do it for me.
What else? Oh yeah, I said this before, but I love this one. "See where your hand is? That's a felony."
The Rick Santoro, "Oh, what the hell? At least I got to be on TV."
That's a great button.
Good way to close out the movie. The fact that kind of you know what, I got my moment in the sun, but at least I got that. I things suck now, but I got my moment.
Yeah, I was milkshake ducked, but for a little bit there, I was the duck. No milkshake.
I got to be the duck. Ray, can you explain for our not chronically online
Oh,
listeners?
yeah.
Can you explain milkshake duck? We haven't done that. We're sorry.
Yeah, a milkshake duck is when someone gains some sort of infamy, right? They become famous in some way. They get their 15 minutes, and then it turns out that they're a terrible person. They've done something terrible, said something racist, and then
sexist.
nobody likes them. Much like how in this movie, Detective Rick Santoro solves this big political conspiracy, becomes the hero of the town, and then it turns out he's a dirty cop. All
Why
cops
is
are
it called
bastards.
milkshake duck? For those asking who are listening, it's not me. I know.
I actually don't know.
if you
I actually don't know why it's called milkshake duck, and I've never known.
Here, you keep reading quotes. I'm gonna look
Okay.
up the origin of milkshake duck.
Gary Sinise goes, "This isn't a beach town anymore. It's a sewer, and Nick Cage goes, "But it's my sewer, Jiminy, and I love it. I kick around about 6 square blocks. Everybody knows me. I got the whole town wired. Someday, if I manage to get my face on TV a few times, maybe I'll run for mayor or something. Because that's as far as I want to go. Because I was made for this sewer, baby, and I am the king."
Okay, here it is. The phrase is derived from a Twitter post made on June 12th, 2016. So I didn't realize it was that new, not even 10 years old. By Ben Ward, an Australian cartoonist using the online handle Pixelated Boat. His Twitter joke describes a fictional internet viral phenomenon of a lovely duck that drinks milkshakes, which is immediately discovered to be racist. Milkshake duck.
Yeah, so there you go.
And there's a picture. I don't know if this is the original, but there's a picture of a duck drinking a milkshake. It's framed like Instagram post where it's got a little white frame around it, but then outside of the frame, it's wearing a swastika.
Apparently,
very clever. Very.
I'm
very
on the Wikipedia
clever.
page now too, and apparently there's something called the reverse milkshake duck.
Where they're racist, but actually they were doing it for good reasons.
I guess.
He was racist, but he was fighting for state rights.
I don't know. That's weird.
This feels like an episode for Johnny to touch on in a culture dumpster.
Okay, the very last quote on the quotes page for IMDb for this movie is from Nick Cage's Rick Santorum, who says, "Cocaine my ass."
I wrote that one down.
Did you?
Yeah, I was like, that's a great line.
Yeah, very good Cage. Yeah, it's a good Cage movie. It's not a great movie, but it could have been. There's so many the opening oneer, the fucking over the walls oneer, just that Brian De Palma sure knows how to make a movie.
I liked the lighthouse speech near the end where Nick Cage is talking about old lighthouses where pirates used to set up on an island across from the shore and pretend to be lighthouses, and they would bring boats in. And I forget exactly what he says, but it ends with basically it's still the lighthouse is brighter. Basically, this is still a fucking trap. This place is still a trap.
Yeah, it's like I said, when this movie is strong, it's really fucking strong, and when it's not, it's really meh.
It's fun. It's fun, Cage.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I gave it a 3.5. I gave it a 3.5 out of 5.
I think I gave it a 3 or 3. I'm heavy on the 3s right now.
Yeah,
I'm somewhere on there. Let me look. Yeah, I gave it a 3.
yeah. I was leaning towards 3, but I thought, you know what though? There's so much good stuff, and it's fun. I would watch this again.
This is the lowest my latest 4 on. This is the lowest my latest 4 has ever been on this app.
Really?
Yeah, I've got Snake Eyes at 3, Equalizer at 3, Theodore Rex at half, Jumper at 2.5. I need to watch more movies.
That's right. You never got to talk about Jumper because you couldn't do that episode.
Yeah, and it's fine. Jumper's an okay movie.
Yeah. You're the one, you put it on the wheel. I felt so bad.
But hey, you know what? You got to watch. I saw that you watched Yes Man after it, so
I did.
you win. You won.
I did. Yes. If you know, you know.
Jumper's just good, stupid fun that makes no sense for any. Why is anyone doing anything that they're doing?
Yeah, me and the guest, me and Sarah, both pretty much came to that conclusion that it's fun. It's not good, but it's fun.
I can't wait to listen to that episode and hear how much better the podcast is without me.
Oh yeah.
No, but Snake Eyes I give 3 stars and I stand by it.
Yeah, I think it's 3.5. I think you're wrong. I think you should bump it up a half star.
I think you're wrong and you're going to hell for it.
Yeah. Where is it as a dad movie? That's the real question.
Oh, that's tough because I want to say 100%.
I don't think it's quite 100. I think it's definitely certified. I think it's above 70 at least. I don't know if I'd go all the way to 100 because I feel like it's one of those movies where like it's definitely almost there. I think a lot of dads will go crazy for those oneers. Dads love Cage, right?
They love Cage. They love redheads. They love a good oneer.
I think dads like Sinise.
They like the boxing.
I think
They don't like Atlantic City.
I think what would bring it down is a lot of the problems we had, which is just things happen and you're kind of like things happen from that reference things that were cut. So that's going to be confused. Like a dad's going to take a 5-minute nap and wake up and be like, what are they talking about? A dad who stays awake through the whole thing is gonna be like, "Did I fall asleep? What are they referencing?"
There's some meandering in the middle of the movie. I forgot to bring up the newscaster at the beginning, like reporting on the hurricane, and that it's kind of beautiful in retrospect. They tell her to lie and call it a tropical storm because they don't want to get the fight canceled, and it kind of plays into Cage's lighthouse speech about there are lies and the lies are drawing people in, but then it also kind of draws into the fact that the flood stuff got cut from the movie.
Yeah.
It's kind of beautiful in that way. I don't know.
I do like the one scene when she's reporting. She goes, "It turns out it is a hurricane. What do you know?"
Yeah, she comes back towards the end of the movie right before the final stand. It is a hurricane.
Yeah. I think I would lean more towards maybe a 75-80% than 100.
I'd agree with you on the 80. I do think there's some meandering in the middle.
Okay.
As cool as the Wonders are, as cool as Nick Cage is, dads will see Luis Guzman and be like, "Where'd he go? I like that guy."
Yeah.
Where is he?
I think dads will have a problem with the insinuation that some boxers lose on purpose.
Yeah, dads don't like fights that are fixed. It's just something that's not in their nature.
Yeah, well, it ruins the
They
sport.
Like a fair, clean. They like it. And then you know what? A dad will be watching this and they'll be talking about boxing and they'll be like, "This used to be a sport full of integrity. Now you got Tyler throwing the match. You got that influencer beating up on Mike Tyson. George Foreman's dead." The dad's just gonna go on about what's wrong with modern boxing.
Yeah. Okay. But yeah, 80. It's definitely a dad movie though. 80%. 80% dad certified.
80% dad certified.
Slap that certification sticker right on that bad boy.
Put it on. Put it on.
Yeah. But yeah, this is fun. I would watch it again.
I would. This is a good rainy day. Like if it's raining outside,
yeah,
it would match the feeling of the movie.
Yeah.
Now is my favorite part of the show. These are our negative Nancy's, our IMDb negative Nancy's. These are folks that watch a movie and they're just not happy enough, like sitting in their misery. They have to get on the IMDb, type out something they spot that they consider a goof in the movie.
I think I think most of them for this movie was like kind of about the same section.
Yeah.
Yeah. Which I like to imagine all of these are written by one disgruntled viewer.
It's just every goof you've ever seen has just been this one guy. It's this one guy.
I'll start. This is listed under revealing mistakes, as if it reveals some sinister thing. So I'm gonna do a little background for the listeners who didn't watch this movie. So in the end credits of this movie take place over a construction crew like rebuilding the casino or whatever. It's a casino, right? It's a casino or
because the fight is the last big fight in the casino. They're tearing it down and building like a new sportplex or something.
So, so the credits roll over like footage of construction workers working. And this person came on IMDb to say, the column in the end credits scene is visibly shaking. It's apparently a movie prop made by some lighter material than concrete. You don't fucking say.
You think they're just going to have concrete on set?
You think they're going to have actors? You think they're just going to hire a bunch of extras to do real construction work?
Actors are dumb. I mean, extras are dumb.
Like, what do you think?
I can say that because I've been an extra.
Do you think that in movies they don't use props? They're just having actors do real things?
All right, you guys, we need you to pour this concrete.
do you think Gary Sinise actually shot that guy?
Mine is listed as a factual error, and it's thankfully downvoted more than it's upvoted. And this person has the timestamp because, of course, they do. During the end credits, you can see a man wearing a baseball cap and other workers going by without hard hats. You never see this at an actual construction site. This guy is going to construction sites to make sure they're all wearing their hard hats.
I like to imagine
if they're not, he's calling OSHA. He's like, hey.
Just for the listeners' context, when me and Nick were going through it, like individually going through the IMDb goof section, we both saw that many of the goofs for this movie are related to that one section of the movie where it's just a construction crew at the end credits. And I like to imagine there's one guy who watched this movie, liked it until the end credits, when he saw their fake construction work and just decided to pick it apart and then ran to IMDb to complain about all of his grievances. It's like, I liked this movie up until this point, but they got so much wrong about construction work. Fuck this movie.
Is he a construction site foreman? Is he like, my guys would be wearing hats? My guys would be wearing their hard hats. What is this?
No, he's not a foreman. He's just like a regular worker who's like, this should never happen.
Oh, he's the one turning the foreman in with, like turning the foreman into OSHA. Like, no, this should be.
He's the Frank Grimes of the construction crew.
What an asshole. Fuck this guy.
Oh, God.
Or we got 5 movies left on the wheel, right?
We do. Let's wrap this
It's on a
bad
wheel.
boy up.
Let me go with that.
Yeah, because I know what else coming up. But it's dad joke time first.
Oh shit! Fuck. Yeah. Fuck. Shit. Fuck.
I know it's late. My brain is mush. I'm just gonna. I had a hard time coming up with a joke for this one, so this one's really shit. So I'm just gonna preface this ahead of time that you're gonna hate this.
Oh shit! All right, hold on. Let me sit up. Oh.
Okay, you prepared for this terrible, terrible joke?
Let's hear it.
All right. Detective Rick Santoro is pretty high strung, but despite all his rage, he is still just Nicolas Cage.
I fucking hate you. I really fucking hate you for that one. I don't have a joke. I don't.
Okay. Oh, you talk shit about my joke and you come here with nothing. Okay, I see how it is.
I don't have a joke.
I see how it is.
I'm sorry. You know what? I have nothing. Sorry. I went in blind. Just like that one character in this. There you go.
Okay. Now we spin the wheel.
Spin that wheel. All right. What is left on the wheel?
Here, I'm gonna pull it up for you.
We got some good ones left on this wheel.
We have a Prey Predator double feature, which I'm telling you, it's gonna get to the guest. It's gonna get to Brian. We have The Nice Guys, which me and you are both hoping ends up being picked last.
Hilarious.
Then we got Goldeneye, which I really hope is next. I've been waiting for Goldeneye this whole wheel. Other than
some Goldeneye.
Other than The Beekeeper, that was like the one I wanted the most. Then we got Wedding Crashers and Punch Drunk Love, which well, actually, by the time the episode goes out, will not be topical anymore because it'll be months since the trailer dropped. For the new
PTA movie.
The new PTA, which looks great.
Doesn't look like a PTA movie that I've ever seen.
It looks great. The movies are back.
I need to rewatch that trailer.
All right, you ready for this?
Yes. There it is.
It finally happened.
Double feature, baby.
Future guest Brian Cutter has been spared.
He's saved. We spared him. Let me see where these are. So I think these are both on Hulu here in the States.
Which
means, Predator's on Hulu, so Prey will be on Hulu.
I love that on Disney Plus here.
I love that Disney put this out. There was some loophole. So there's a loophole. There's a loophole that Disney exploited to keep this off of HBO Max, if I remember correctly.
Was this going to be on HBO Max?
So they didn't do. So I think they had a deal. They had a deal where any of their movies that got a theatrical release had to go to Max for a certain window of time.
Oh, because
so they sidestepped. Yeah, so they sidestepped that and just put it on Hulu.
Incredible.
Which is a damn shame.
This movie would have ripped in theaters.
It would have been amazing. Wow, it's really been 3 years since. Holy shit. Prey.
The director of this is making 2 follow-ups, both set for release this year.
That's crazy. I mean, I'll believe it when I see it.
Untitled Predator film, 2025, and then Predator Badlands.
I just want to say, Prey is only 99 minutes long.
Incredible.
And then Predator's 107. Yeah, I figured that one was a little longer.
God, what a picture.
Good movie. Good fucking movies.
2 good movies.
That's going to be good.
Yeah. But, you lovely standees and you, Steve Buscemi, before you go out to watch those 2 movies, prepare for next episode. Give us a follow on the old Sky of Blue at Stand and Watch. And you can follow me and Nick also, but you got to work for that information, as always.
Maybe for the 3rd wheel, we'll finally divvy up that information.
Maybe.
Maybe. We'll see.
Leave a review. If you listened and haven't left a review yet, leave a review. It doesn't have to be good. I'm not gonna A lot of shows will tell you specifically leave a 5-star review. We're not going to do that. This is okay? We're in a free society. We believe in the democratic process. You can leave whatever review you want, but leave a review.
The further and further America slides into its current state, maybe I don't believe in the freedom to put the 1-star. Maybe I'm gonna hunt you. Maybe I'm gonna Jay and Silent Bob you and hunt you down for your bad reviews. Who knows?
You gonna beekeeper them?
I gotta clean the hive.
Oi, I've come to do a job.
Oi, I'm going to clean.
Oi, who am I? I'm just a working man.
I'll have you know, we have a perfect 5-star rating on Apple Podcasts. So if you want to go over there and
That's true.
fuck that up,
Yeah, go ahead.
fuck our shit up.
The main thing we want
on.
you to do is listen and tell other people to listen. And actually, we want you to force them to listen. Because I'm sure you're all telling people to listen. And just make sure they're doing it, right?
I've always said it. If you hate the podcasts, tell your enemies to come listen. Like,
Yeah.
waste their time.
Yeah, just tell somebody.
Do that.
Make sure someone listens. Make sure at least 3 people you know become listeners. Because then you get to talk about it with them. That's
This
fun.
is your call to action.
Yeah, everybody
Come
likes
on.
to be part of a community. Be part of the stand and watch community.
Dads welcome. Moms too.
Yeah, listen. Everybody has a little dad in them, and I really got to rephrase that.
That's bad. That's bad. We're gonna have to edit that out. Just
Yeah.
edit that out. Edit it out.
I keep saying it. I've said it on other episodes. I keep saying it. I got to find a better way to say it, but
Just say it to your dad
yeah.
and see what
listen,
he says.
the point is, if there's anything you can learn from this podcast, it's that dad movies rule, and you don't have to be a father to have dad energy. Essentially, you
don't.
Yeah, you can be a
I agree.
stand.
Matt is not a dad, and he's
No.
got some dad energy to him that I've noticed over the last year. So,
I like to complain about things. It is true.
in fact, when we get off the show, that's what we're gonna go complain about some
Yeah.
stuff.
Yeah, let's go do that. Maybe not much because it is very late, but
It is late.
yeah, that's it for the show. Get ready for the double feature, and whatever you do, don't tell your mother.